Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. So today we are going to be trying to fix a MacBook. I'd like to say thank you very much to Uncivil Law for the Christmas present that he dropped off. I'm really sorry that when you came by I didn't have more time to take you to lunch. You stopped by while I was trying to kind of run a Ponzi scheme on my life and get a lot of moving and other work stuff done and organized in a short time period. But I did just figure out that Uncivil Law lives actually very close to my area, so I look forward to getting lunch with him in the future. And for now, we are going to be enjoying some of the Christmas present, which is some Texas blended whiskey, 82 proof, baby. Now this is how you fix a MacBook on New Year's Eve. Anyway, so we are going to enjoy some of this. Oh, that smells good. Oh, this is going to be a fun repair, my friends. All right, so let's get started here. So what do we have? So let's get started. I don't have the overhead camera set up over the desk yet. There's actually a lot of stuff I haven't taken the time to set up yet. Also, this microscope, this M-scope is doing this thing where it like jiggles a lot. I don't know. This thing, like I haven't had to tighten any of the other ones, but this one has been kind of annoying. Yeah, these M-scopes ain't made the way they used to. They used to come much more. I've tried tightening this thing as much as I can, but it still jiggles. Like no matter how much you tighten this freaking lever. Okay. Yeah, this is kind of this is driving me nuts. Anyway, we'll figure it. Okay, so we're gonna get started, and god damn, this is frustrating. This microscope mount sucks. Anyway, okay, we'll get to that later. So first thing we're gonna do here, this thing is not turning on. We are gonna plug it in with the USB-C amp meter and see what it's taking. And since I don't have the overhead camera set up yet, we are going to read it to you. I will read to you what it's taking. Or even better, I can actually show you in the microscope camera, which has an what do you mean unsupported signal? Piece of sh. Yo, does anything want to work today? Bruh. Let's see. Okay, one moment. One moment. Ugh. Oh, God. Okay, that's why that's not working. Oh, that looks bad. I can see how this year is going to be ending. Okay, we got 5.18 volts at 0.02 amps, so pretty much nothing is being done here. Now, one of the very common issues that we have on an A1932 MacBook Air board tends to be that the main PP-Bus G3 hot rail this is driving me crazy. That the main rail appears to short circuit to ground a lot. Okay. That's really as tight as that's going to get without me starting to do trend. Bruh! I got to start doing roids so I can tighten this thing appropriately. So let's see if that's the case here. I'm going to turn on the multimeter. We're going to figure out where I got Paul Daniels' software on the screen somewhere here. I believe it's this icon is the Paul Daniels software. And what do you know? That icon opened up the Paul Daniels software. So now we're going to open up a 1932 board view and schematic here, like so. And let's see, where can I find PP-Bus G3 hot? What do you know? It's right here, one of the main rails. Yes, nice little distorted, grainy camera image over there with a microscope that doesn't stand up straight. And by the end of the evening, if my night goes well, I won't be standing up straight either. Let's measure. So what do we have on PP-Bus G3 hot? 4.1 ohm short to ground. All right, so we're going to take the motherboard out of the case, and we are going to see if we can figure out why PP-Bus G3 hot is shorted to ground. And then after that, we will figure out why I'm still sober, as a way to procrastinate figuring out why the microscope camera is grainy and why the microscope mount is not working the way it's supposed to. Piece of shit. Anyway, let's open this thing up. It's going to be fun. We're going to fix this MacBook. Before we take the board out of the case, though, enjoy some of the New Year's Eve celebration. Now let's see how many of you remember the last video that I did on the mistakes that people make doing short detection. What is it that I should avoid doing while attempting to find a short on this motherboard? Donald Hanson, this is some nice Texas blended whiskey right here. It's a good old-fashioned welcome to Texas. I approve of this welcome to Texas. Catherine, Mr. Clinton is actually doing very well. He's almost done with his eye medication. He finished his painkiller thing. I think he learned his lesson to not destroy my garbage pail. Take everything out of it and then start cutting himself on shit. Yeah, he got an ulcer in his eye, little bastard. He always manages to break into shit and screw with it and have horrible things wind up happening. But this time was different. This time was better. So this time, it wasn't a $4,000 leg injury. It was a $350 eye injury, but his eye is okay now. He was really not happy with having to be at a vet at midnight. I'm happy that there was a vet here that was actually open at midnight. Did a really good job. They refused to take a $100 tip, so I wound up just leaving it on the desk and running out of there before they saw it. Hello, Piernov, how are you? Hope you're having a lovely day. By the way, if everybody here could just take the time to thank Piernov for his contributions to this community. He has taught lots of people how to think better, how to troubleshoot better. He's found a lot of flaws and just documented things that other people have not. I would say he's kind of on Duke's level when it comes to a natural sense of intelligence about board repair, and he's done a lot that have contributed to the careers of other technicians, and I'm confident that there are devices that work that otherwise would not have worked if not for Piernov. So everybody show Piernov a little bit of appreciation in the chat for everything he's done for the repair community. He also has a repair channel. He doesn't post to it as often as I used to post to mine, but it's a channel that's worth subscribing to because when he has something to say, it's probably something that will help you make money or fix something that you otherwise would have given up on. So yeah, I noticed that dudes like him never get the recognition they deserve. Let's take a look over this board and see if anything is obvious. But sometimes it makes itself obvious. I will say this about Texas. We love our pets and wildlife. We have 24/7 vets in almost every area. Yeah, the Round Rock 24/7 vet was awesome. Okay, now, a large amount of the time, the issue winds up being by this little speaker I see over here. One of these caps winds up being corroded, or there's a short under the chip. So we are going to take a look under it and see if there's anything over there that looks suspect. Usually the short is through this. Is it okay to send 120 volts directly to the CPU? You know, that tends to be frowned upon, Christopher Kelly, but there are people that would do such a thing. And, Piernov actually had a really good lesson on his YouTube channel. So we're going to see if anything is obvious. And a lot of the times it's not going to be obvious. But admittedly, I have gotten spoiled by the ones that are obvious. Mr. Clinton is no longer a sunflower. Mr. Clinton is very much so enjoying his freedom from the cone. It's not like he was breaking his way out of that shit every single day anyway, but I would put it back on him. But now that his eye is better and he's not scratching it or trying to scratch it, he's allowed to. Before he would try to scratch his eye, but A, he had the cone, and B, he was on all those opiates and painkiller, whatever the hell they give him. So he would try to scratch. When is Sonny moving out? Sonny does not live with me, so I don't have an answer to that question. Yeah, I've never lived with Sonny. So nothing painfully obvious here. Now, does anybody remember what it is I said about trying to find short circuits? One of the things you need to do before you inject voltage into PP-bus G3 hot, if PP-bus G3 hot is shorted, wait a second. What just happened here? Did PP-bus G3 hot stop being shorted? No way. You're screwing with me. Oh, bro. Are you serious? Okay, that was shorted just a second ago. Yo. If this thing turns on now, I'm gonna be effing pissed. What? No, because no. All right. What? Don't you dare go to 20 volts. I will fuck you up. Bruh! What's with the 20 volts? Meant moving to Texas. Oh, no, Sonny's not moving here. Sonny loves New York. Sonny loves New York State. He loves New York City. Sonny's a happy guy. Hi is not moving to Texas. Hi is in New York. Okay, so let's see. Usually this means the audio board is shorted. Maybe trackpad. Or this just fixed itself. That would be crazy if this just fixed itself. We're going to plug in the trackpad and then the audio board. The audio board is a very common cause, but I figured that would be a 5-volt rail short, not a main short. It never just fixes itself. Sometimes it does. Thanks for the good content over the years. Hopefully next year it goes better than this one. Yeah, we'll see, we'll see. I have my hopes. I have my hopes and dreams. 4.2. And then we unplug the audio board. 2.14 kiloohms. All right, so this is where you're going to learn a lesson here. That most of the time on these MacBook Airs, your issue is actually on the audio board. So I'm going to take out the audio board and show you that. And you'll get to see why it is, if you have a MacBook repair shop, that you should be stocking a lot of MacBook Air audio boards for the newer models. Or at the very least, refurbishing the old ones when you have the ability to. We're going to take a look at this one. So something was loose. No, not loose. Loose is code for free. Many customers hope for things to be loose because loose is code for it's free. That is not the case here. No, this is not going to be loose. This is going to be fucked, and you'll see once we take the audio board out of the device. Now it's also an interesting question if the short is inside the cable, because the audio board itself looks rather healthy. So we're going to plug the audio board in, just to rule it out, because God knows that the way my luck usually is, the short would be inside the cable while I spend 2 hours looking for a non-existent short inside the board. The short is not inside the cable. The short is inside the audio board itself. Now, PPBush G3 Hot is going to be going to the audio board, as you can see here on the schematic in the board view. Wait, you can't see the schematic in the board view because Linux is messing with me. Give it one moment. I'm going to fight Linux so it doesn't mess with me anymore. There we go. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so as you can see, this is the connector. And on the connector, we have a bunch of pins for PPBush G3 Hot over here. Now let's take a look at the audio board itself, shall we? Up close and personal. So from the top, it's pin 4 and 5 on the left and the right that are PPBush G3 Hot. So we are going to experiment a little bit here. See which one here exactly is that. So let's see if it's shorted to ground. So I have one pin over here on ground. Now, which one of these is likely to be PPBus? 1, 2, 3. It would be 4 and 5. Unless the cable is routing it strangely. Now remember, we don't have a schematic for the audio board. We only have a schematic for the motherboard. So I'm kind of trying to guess where PPBush G3 Hot would be on this little board over here. It's also hard to hold this stupid thing down. My fingers keep touching the multimeter probes, which is driving me crazy. Huh, okay, 18.72 kilo ohms. 39 million ohms. I feel like I'm not touching the right shit here. 0.3. That could just be ground. If there are 4 pins for PP-Bus G3 hot, then where were they? This is dirt, but dirt is not a problem. PGA. A little bit of poopy dust. This audio board does not look like there's anything obviously wrong with it. Like a lot of the times you'll see the connector is kind of nasty because of liquid, or you'll have to flick off a cap. But in this case, there's really nothing obvious here. So it looks like this is just an audio board. I was actually kind of hoping this would make a good example for audio board refurbishing. But it's presenting a fairly horrible example for audio board refurbishing. One, two, three, four. Yeah, and also the fact that I don't think that this is one-to-one in terms of where the pins go from the cable. Yeah, because if pins 4 and 5 on the connector. Wait a sec, I'm looking at the wrong. Am I looking at the wrong connector? Because that would actually be embarrassing. That would be massively stupid. But surprisingly like something that I would do. So this is one end of this cable. And then the other end is this. I'm trying to figure out where PP-Bus G3 hot maps to on this. So like if you have PP-Bus G3 hot here, like if you have PP-Bus G3 hot here, 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 then where does that show up on the actual audio board? It's not a bent pin in the cable. We went over this already. When the cable is plugged in without the audio board, there is no short. There's minor dirt on it, but that's not a big deal. Yeah, so watch. See, when the cable is plugged in, but there's no audio board plugged into the device, I'm just going to do that again right here. We plug in the cable, and then we measure for a short on PP-Bus G3 hot. You'll see thousands of ohms. That's not a short circuit. So the issue is not inside the cable, but that short does appear when the audio board is plugged in. I'd love to kind of traverse where one way I could do this, if I really were a monster, what I could do is I could inject PP-Bus G3 hot into the motherboard with the cable attached to this little board over here. But this cable is not going to be. This cable is not going to want to carry an amp. That's not reasonable. So it would be best to find where PP-Bus G3 hot is on this little donor board. On this little thing over here. And then just inject directly into that. However, I would expect if PP-Bus G3 hot goes to this donor board, with this audio board, that one of these capacitors would be for PP-Bus G3 hot. So whichever one, it is a main rail, and if you have all these caps, I'd expect one of them to be for that. But let's see if any of them are. With the one that is, it's going to be the one that is a 4 ohm short to ground, obviously. But none of them have a short to ground. Okay, this is covered under underfill as shit, so that's not going to be it. Very, very interesting. I probably should. Can you measure both sides of the cable? Both sides of what? What do you mean both sides of the cable? What am I measuring? Doesn't make sense. Let's see. And where is my PP-Bus G3 hot on here? Should be on something. Interesting. Short time powering from PSU, current limit. You don't use current limit, you just use a low voltage. Current limit is from people that don't understand that voltage is a knob. And I just don't want to put a lot through that, because that cable is not going to allow me to send enough current to actually figure out anything. Can't you plug in the cable and then measure on the cable when you know the pinout? Measure on the cable where you know the pinout. That would suck, though. That's going to be you know what it's going to be like to try and... Do you know what it's going to be like to try to measure each one of these individually without it popping up at me? I mean, I guess I could try it. Let's see. See, this is what's going to... This is what I feel like is going to drive me crazy here. Okay, let's do that. First off, this microscope is going to kind of drive me crazy. I have a feeling. But let's see. Okay, I have... Okay, we fold the cable over. Now I have to have my other hand touching the PP bus on the board. So this hand has to control keeping the cable down and tapping, which is going to suck. Let's see if I have the dexterity for that. I could just... Which one is it? Oh, here it is. This one. Oh, that was actually faster than I thought. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, so on that side. So on the left side, those 3. So on the left side, top, those 3. So when this plugs in like this, the left side, the 3 from the top, but besides the top one. So it's this, this, and this. But these all look like they go to different places. That's the weird thing. Oh, and the weird shit is it's not shorted on the actual audio board. On the audio board, it's open line. What? Bro, that's a fucking riddle right there. Get a good audio board, then you can find out where his PP bus. That's not going to tell me anything. Another audio board isn't going to tell me shit. Okay, so let's get this straight. When I plug the audio board into the computer, PP bus G3 hot shorts the ground on the computer. I figured out that PP bus G3 hot on the board, or on the audio board, are these 3 pins, yet PP bus G3 hot over here is not shorted to ground on the actual audio board. But it's shorted. What? Just switch the cable and see what happens. No. Maybe an intermittent short. No, it's not intermittent. It's directly there regularly. Maybe the short is in the cable. Bro, we've gone over this so many times, man. Okay. This is the cable plugged into the board. This is me measuring PP bus G3 hot to ground on the board. See? It's not in the cable. If it was in the cable, I wouldn't have open line. See, PP bus G3 hot to ground is 10 kiloohms with the cable plugged into the board. So see, this is the cable over here. The cable is plugged into the board. It's plugged in the board. So if the short was in the cable plugged into the board would cause this to be short. But it's not. It's only when you plug the audio board in. And as you can see, this side of the cable looks fairly healthy. It has a little bit of jizz on it, but I mean, it's a MacBook. They almost always have a little bit of jizz on them. Not really much you can do about that. I'll clean off some of that intermittent jizz. Plugging it again, does the short come back? Well, I'm not going to plug it in again. I've plugged it in 3 times because you people haven't paid attention. There's no more times I can plug that shit back in. Okay. Yeah, we clean the little jizz stain off of it. Maybe the short is from something powered that has to be on to short. Nope, because that short is present with no power plugged into the computer. Thanks for the educational contents over the years. These videos make a real difference to help with the board level repairs and attainable skill they can learn. Happy New Year. Thank you, Christoph. Thank you very much. Okay, so we've gotten all the jizz off. But again, I don't think it's the jizz because the jizz was present when this wasn't plugged in and you were still getting that weird short. I mean, obviously, if I wanted to, I could just replace the audio board and the audio board cable, but that's no fun. I want to figure it out. Like, yeah, you can just replace the audio board and the audio board cable, obviously. But if PP-Bush goes to 3 pins in the audio board and then head off to different parts of the board, you should measure all 3 instead of just the 1 pin. Huh. It was the jizz. Was it the jizz? Was that fucking jizz that, like, literally what it was? That little piece of... It was the jizz. Yo. This was the jizz. Because I just plugged it back in. And now it's good. Did this thing like, that wasn't even green liquid damage. That was just, like, gray. Bruh. It was the jizz. Okay, so we have the audio board plugged in. I am going to, give me a second. I'm just going to, no fucking way. Wow. Is it that seriously fucking easy to kill this MacBook Air? Wow. This shit gets worse with each passing year. This shit gets worse with each, no fucking way. I just fixed it. Well, let's see. Does it boot? Get a picture on the screen, all that good stuff. This makes no sense. That audio board had no short measured on it, but you know what? Don't even care. World doesn't have to make sense. Just has to make money. If the world makes dollars, I'll settle for that over it making sense. Okay, let's plug this thing in. Plug you in. That was a dong, so my audio board is working. And that is an Apple logo, because my machine is now fixed. Killed by jizz. This honestly doesn't have water damage either. That was literally like, I don't even know how to describe that. That was 1/100th of a grain of rice. A2000-01124 audio board view and schematic are on Badcap's forum. Well, it's good to know. It's good to know those are findable if you need them, but I don't need them. I just needed to remove the jizz. Now that I've removed the jizz, I have a working MacBook. That's literally all it took to kill this MacBook. You saw the little, that wasn't even a grain of rice. That wasn't 1/10 of a grain of rice. That was like 0.1 of a grain of rice. That was, you know how when I got my New York State audit, they figured out that my error rate was not 50% or 10% or even 1%, but 0.1%? That was 0.1% of a piece of corrosion. It wasn't even green. It wasn't even liquid. And it shorted PP-Bush G3 hot to ground and killed a MacBook. I sent you an STL file in your email a few days ago. You have to tape down your Rolo printer. Have a new year. Thank you very much, LGR FBS. Thank you so much. This MacBook literally took like all you had to, I'm stunned because like I really didn't think that would be all that was necessary to kill this. I haven't fixed a MacBook regularly in a while, but it's good to know that they're still manufactured and put together and engineered like memes. Some things never change. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. Happy New Year. See you in the next video. Bye now.